So I was being treated poorly if you call just being ghosted and experiencing no contact being mistreated, then I experienced that before I could really do anything about anything, right? Pardon me. You know, like maybe I am my dad's mother, and when I came into the world, my dad couldn't respect me, couldn't be there for me, kind of handled me with tongs. I think that just me being here is or was a challenge. And so it's the kind of thing where if I stop pushing the cart, then the whole thing stops. And so I kind of stopped pushing the cart. And a lot stopped. And so then now, any narcissist would say, why did you stop pushing the cart? Well, why should I push the cart at all? Well, what are we doing? Well, good question. Does anybody ask what anybody's doing, or do we just push carts? Of course I can push a fucking cart. There is some cart that I'm pushing, and that is just me being. There's a lot of that going on. And so, where is everybody? You know, that's kind of the thing to ask. A long time ago, I was just thinking, well, you know, and then we had the COVID-19 announcement, let alone technology destroying us, on top of trying to level out our beings with the food that we that we think we're going to live on. How about the no questioning way of life? How long is that going to go on? So it's a little bit of a shift in mentality after a while. But for me, like, let's say, I was just trying to remember, when was it that I first noticed a change with the way people could care for each other. And I saw it around about, I'd say, well, I noticed it really bad around 2011 or so. Something in the air, and it was definitely that there was social media, right? Didn't Facebook come out like in 2000 or something? And then people were gradually hooking up. And so I remember I had a friend that we were working together. I mean, I was doing, my favorite thing was we were playing music together. Then Facebook came along, and I remember she was sitting in front of me, and she was literally saying, I'm trying to get hooked up into this Facebook thing, and she has a computer and everything, and it was weird energy. I remember I couldn't make contact with her anymore. It was hard to work with that person anyway. A lot of people, I mean, if you're truly creative, you wonder what that person's doing. Well, you wonder what a lot of narcissists are doing with anything and everything, including the oxygen. But anyway, getting back to how, yes, I noticed that our relationship just got very strange, but I like to just observe what's going on out there with people. You know, I don't get all in a fuss over people. You know, you remove yourself when you feel like you wore out your welcome, I guess. But getting back to just noticing that, so people got weird, right? When Facebook came out and social media, I didn't get on it until way later. And so, did you hear that knock? That's been happening a lot lately. I just had some spaghetti again with some red sauce, and I could see it's a good excuse anyway. Yeah, lots of knocks happening. You know, this is around about, 9 minutes of a conversation. Humanity is going to keep breaking down if they don't know how to put down the communications system and turn off the electricity more and sit with each other. Mainly, sit with yourself. Somehow. I think that we should come together more. And I thought that that's what we were doing. And I was like, all right, and it's like, we don't post signs up, and it's not going to be televised. We are now shifting, and we're going to be together now. As far as what we were here to do is fend for each other, support each other, be there for each other, or not. I'm sure, is it a natural happening? Fuck. I can't say that I was trying, but I think that there is, and there was a natural order, like, say, self-organization, just people aligning through resonation of, they have the same vibrational frequency. So, but then COVID-19 was announced, and not that there wasn't confusion before. it seemed like that there was natural self-organization going on, and then the announcement went on. And then everybody's sitting back in their caves. But the scene was weird beforehand. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, like, personally, like, okay, so all of my relationships just broke down. You can say Saturn on my moon. I find, okay, deeply, really personally, money. Money creates the weirdest person, and relationships. This is one of the things that I was talking to in numerology. He's a 33, and I'm an 11. And I met this guy, and he was buying some of my product, and I was working for him, and he didn't seem to mind it, and I really appreciated it. He was a really cool guy, and we were sharing some things, and he was impressed that I could do like 35 pull-ups like crazy. It's because I lost my ass, and I don't have any weight down here. I just have muscle up here, and I pull myself up like crazy. I'll kind of get that on tape one of these days. Shitty conversation lasting a whole 11 minutes. Babes, what you got to do with the moon conjunct Venus in Scorpio, new moon, eclipsing, vibration is just be honest. Drop it down, drop it out. Say it like it is. Say it. It's not anybody's business, but get it off your chest and say it. So anyway, getting back to how that, so talking to this guy, some of the conversation, we would talk for hours. We would spend hours just talking. And one of the things, I mean, he was pretty interesting and, you know, kind of awakening and seeing things and asking questions really is how you do it. So the question of money, you know, he kept mentioning, you know, I remember the questions he was asking me. He's like, so just imagine if you didn't have money and you needed something, you know, something like this. So I never really thought about it. I couldn't think about it. But I thought, oh, now I'm thinking a little bit like it took fucking how many years now? Like they announced the COVID-19 thing, and then we get set back in our cave. So here it is, like almost 3 years later. I'm answering the question now. It's like, well, what is money? Why is it here? Well, and this isn't a biased thing to say. This isn't a racist thing or a competitive thing, but it's here for women. Money is here for, now they say energy. It's just energy. But who is reproducing? Like, who has the capability of pumping a whole other human being out of their body and then creating food, and then at the same time they're cooking for everybody and doing their laundry? And you know how it is in America, women, soccer moms. I mean, it's just pure energy. If you know how it is to be a woman, and you're sexually peaking at 45, have no idea what that could possibly mean until you get to that age. And anyway, it's really interesting. Just math, you know. So money is here to maintain a sane ambiance for women. And then there's other things that we can look at that keeps pointing at, oh, well, that's here for women. That's here because of woman. Other things, of course, I mean, the rumor is, or the story goes, is that a lawnmower was built. Somebody got pissed. See, this is another thing, is they diss anger. They say, oh, you should never get angry, you know. And that's a human quality. It's one of the most beautiful qualities of the human who gets angry and fucking does something about something. It's not violence, it's an emotion of anger that makes you aggressive. And aggressive isn't violence either. It just moves your ass in a vigorous manner. I mean, what kind of words do you need? It's not violence, though. It's just picking up a bit with fire under your ass and getting something done, and you want it to be easier. So the woman who is cutting grass with scissors and then even shears like this gets pissed and decides to invent a push mower. And that's how a push lawnmower came about. And that's how, like, that whole sensation with the blades cutting, the rolling wheels, cutting lawns happened, is because some black woman, no less, got pissed because she's got just tired of cutting with shears. And so you see, that's just a story, but it's an example of what anger, where it can get us. Look where it can get us. I know I'm an Aries rising, babes, and you don't diss anger or any of these emotions, like even boundaries, setting boundaries, or setting false boundaries and saying break it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what do you mean? Well, I want to see how much you care. So the word Aries is in boundaries. At the very end is Aries. Isn't that weird? Because, you know, Aries is the R it is the I am, it's all, but where is that? You know, if you can imagine, this is just one thin layer of a dimension going on. And 17 minutes, babes, and I don't know, I'm talking. My brother, what he did, you know, what I'm talking about, like getting around to pushing the cart, you know, like whose fault is it? Could we have prevented anything? See, right now I'm completely left in the dark. I know because I'm not a perfect person, and I am who I am. I am what I am. Using social media the way you're supposed to, and you should be as transparent as possible. The fucking public has missed their opportunity to get their own intellectual property back into their own hands, but it is completely escapes their perception that that's what we're here to do. You know, it's just a random event going on out there, and it's like, I refuse to believe that that shit's what's going on, especially like with our collective here now. If people, boy, that combination of words here now is so powerful. If you really knew where your power was, it's definitely here now. It's in the here now. If anybody knew this, you know, and cleared their mind and just, what I call it, reeled it in, reel your mind in. Just don't project, and don't constantly feed. Just move into this totally still space. I can hear it here right now. It's in these mountains, you know. It's kind of gotten cold at night. Just this is the second night that it's gotten down to 36 degrees. Last night it was 33 degrees, and so people kind of stow away, and less human activity, and more COVID-19 announcements, and the gas prices going up. Sometimes it gets pretty quiet. I mean, it's gotten pretty quiet. We're gonna see some different days here, but that quietness is there all the time, though. It doesn't matter how much noise is happening. I notice it. It's the quiet that holds all noises or something. Hard to explain, but it's the here now. And if you knew your power, I've been looking at something now, and it's pretty humbling. I don't talk about it much on Facebook or social media until now. I talk about the lower spectrum to try and bring people up into the spectrum of the possibility of, yes, your mind and reality are one. This aperture and the whole thing is scientifically interacting, like electrically. But people think, well, your thoughts are very important. It's like, there is a way to bypass thought. You know what I mean? A lot of people think, well, what do you mean? You got to think of it. It's like, I'm a musician, okay? I know about forethinking. I almost said foreplaying. But if you knew a musician, if you duet with a musician, nobody can duet better. You won't settle for anything less than getting back to, I don't even know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? 22 minutes of worry. I wonder if I'm ever going to see my brother again. Just because we're kind of different. I'm somebody who's grown up all my life seeing how that, okay, I'm different, but and everybody else is different just like me. They have their difference of who they are. It's their uniqueness. So I just experience them and appreciate who they are. I've been in just so much pain since my brother. I know that he was in trouble. He called me and I couldn't reach him. Bottom line, that's not me. My brother knows that I just run right down there whenever he called, and he did call, and I couldn't make it. There's just so many blockages going on for me. I remember, okay, let's talk about minute 22, man. I remember if we wanted, he stopped pushing the cart. As far as what he did, I guess it's like he talk about stopping pushing the cart. Babe, you don't try to stop reality. So anyway, I remember it was a long time ago. I mean, especially like say over social media, there's a time where a lot of people would wonder what it is, but babes, it's hard to become realized about our interdimensional world here, and what possibly really is going um, on all levels. It doesn't have to be all bad, and it's not all bad, and it's not all good either. Why does it have to be good or bad? It's interesting as hell, isn't it? I mean, I contemplate my skeletal structure like often. It's around about this time of year. Happy Halloween, by the way. Thinking, what the hell are these? I'm looking at my hand. Okay. I have this kind of like a pimple, and I've been working on it for days. It's like cystic, and I know that I can get it if I mean, it's just different nowadays. My skin is different, and everything's different. A lot of things are. getting more. I'm getting older. I'm not 50 yet. I just turned 48. And it's really hard to be alone. I'm I'm being left alone now. I mean, really family-wise. I mean, a lot of people will say that. Really, a lot of narcissists are going to be saying that to us, but they have a full household. They go to work every day. It's like, no, babes, I don't have anybody here. I don't go to work. I go for days without talking to anybody. Unfortunately, I talk to myself more than I talk to other people. And I find, I check in on myself. I think, wait a minute, am I a fucking schizoid? No. This is an interesting conversation, and you wouldn't have this conversation otherwise. It's like nobody else could have that conversation with you but you. And and that's kind of the reason, well, not the reason why, but really it is why you should probably record. Babes, I've been recording myself. I'm a recording artist. I've been recording myself with ghetto blasters, musically, ping-ponging things. I've had massive scenes going with just me since the age like 8, 9, 10. And I do have just continued experience in the studio as a recording artist, helping musicians do their music, and also learning how to sing and how to do actual studio recording work with the equipment. Learning about the sound waves of each instrument. I mean, at least with the bass, the middle range, and the highs. How to do all that. I mean, I've been doing sound, which is vibrational frequency, and I knew this for a long time, since the age 3. Pardon me, I'm gonna go brush my teeth. I just got out of the shower and now I have to do that.